Due South Sips and Travel Tips. I'm Nina V. King DuPont, and this is Hamilton Picard DuPont. And today, you're going with us to Playa del Carmen. But until then, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Y'all, it's the only way we're going to grow. It's the only way I'm going to be able to continue to bring this amazing all-inclusive resort content and travel content to you all. So today, you're actually going to go into Playa del Carmen with this. I traveled to Playa del Carmen to an all-inclusive resort pretty recently, and a couple of the days we went into Playa, we shopped, we drank, we did not eat, but we did do all of the above other than eat. So I definitely want to show you video of it and talk a little bit about why I love Playa del Carmen, and if I think it's worth it for you to go into Playa del Carmen, you know, as if you're staying in another all-inclusive resort. So without further ado, let's get on into it. So Playa del Carmen has all of your typical big box stores such as Old Navy and like Nike, etc. If you live in middle America, like, I don't know, somewhere out, no offense, out in the sticks in Idaho or something like that, this might be a major draw for you because you may not be able to visit these sort of shops otherwise. However, if you live near a metropolitan city like I do in Atlanta, Georgia, it's kind of old hat. So you can visit those type of stores. In addition, they do have like a Madame Tussauds or whatever, like wax museum. They have a Frida Kahlo museum. They have some typical kind of museums. They're not really museums because like the Frida Kahlo museum doesn't actually have any of her works in it. It's just about her life. But what you will find is a lot of mom and pop destinations, bars, and restaurants. And that's what I love. I don't like those chainy kind of big box restaurant, bars, etc. I do occasionally love going to a Senor Frogs. However, we have them in the States now, so I tend not to do them anymore out of the country like I used to because I have one near me in Florida now, so it's like, why would I do it? Yeah. We did do Hard Rock this time. I always like to do a Hard Rock. Y'all know my look and all that. So we did do the Hard Rock in Playa. I have not done the Hard Rock in Playa before. This is not my first time in Playa, but this is the first time that I really truly like explored Playa's like ins and outs. Before I've just done the statue and gone to like Senor Frogs and just kind of like the basic stuff, but this time I went pretty much everywhere. And I found a couple of hidden gems. I'm going to talk about those later in the video. But yeah, and it's fun to walk around. It really is. You know, if you just want to get off your resort for the day, if you're staying at Valentina Pier Riviera Maya, or you're staying at Breathless Soul, or you're staying at a Ryu or something, or Live Aqua in the Cancun, the hotel zone, it might be fun for you to get that taxi or private transfer into Playa because it is so walkable and it is a lot of fun to just see all the vendors and walk up and down, and the beach there is absolutely gorgeous. And you know, one of the other things that I love is all the local folks that are selling things, and they try to like come up to you and talk to you. I'll talk about that more in the video. But yeah, you do have to be a little careful. However, Playa is very safe. I've never felt scared there or anything like that. I know a lot of people worry about safety, but it's totally fine. You're just going to get folks that just really want you to buy whatever it is that they're selling. A lot of things are overpriced in this area, and you're going to find the typical souvenirs that you're going to see anywhere in this type of touristy area. Like a lot of the same bags and magnets, etc. you'll see in Montego Bay, Jamaica, or you're going to see in Punta Cana. So, I mean, it's nothing special. I'm going to be honest. Some things might be a little special. You might be able to find that one off, but typically no. So, let's get on into some footage from Playa, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about everything.
All right, so getting to Playa del Carmen, if you are staying in the hotel zone or you're staying in the Riviera Maya area or you're staying in Tulum, etc., you can get the concierge or the bellhops at your resort to call a taxi for you to go to Playa, or you can book a private transfer. I recommend using Kalido. Y'all know I am a huge fan of them. They will take you to Playa del Carmen via a private transfer. And you'll have to get a quote for that based on what resort you're staying at or wherever you're staying at in Playa. I also recommend Marisa Costa. She does a great job as well. And I also recommend Santiago Chavez. So those are the ways that I would recommend you get to Playa. I would not recommend that you take an Uber. I've just heard a lot of nightmare stories about Ubers in this area. And I would just, to be on the safe side, I would do a cab or one of the other options. I have done all of the above, and I've also stayed in Playa. Pro tip, when I've taken a taxi into Playa, I do pay the driver to stick around for me, or tell them to come back at a certain time. Like, let's say I want to spend 4 hours in Playa, then I'll tell them to come back to this certain area. I'll get their WhatsApp, or I'll get their phone number, or, text, etc. I do have an international calling plan, so, for me, there's no cost there, but for you, there might be. So, WhatsApp is also a good way to communicate with these drivers, and also take a picture of their license tag so that I know I'm getting in the same cab that I got in before. But for me, I now book a private transfer there if I'm choosing to go there, or I just stay in the area. Alrighty, like I talked about before, shopping in Playa del Carmen can be very fun, especially if you have not been out of the country before. They do have all the typical souvenirs like you're going to see in any part of the Caribbean, tote bags that have Playa del Carmen on them, or magnets with Frida Kahlo's image. If you've not seen those types of things before, or been out of the country, or been to this area of Mexico, then this is definitely a must-do for you. They have all those sorts of types of stores. They also have the pharmacies where they sell all sorts of various drugs at that you definitely can't get into the United States. I'm not condoning that you purchase these and take them back into the States, but you can purchase various things there that you cannot get in the States. In addition, they also have your typical big box stores like H&M, Forever 21, Sephora, etc. So if you live like in Middle America, or you live somewhere in a very remote area and you aren't able to frequent those types of stores, this is definitely a must-do for you. You're going to pay a little bit more because of the import-export kind of tax piece there. It's actually not cheaper than the States if you go into like an H&M or an Old Navy, so don't think that you're going to get some kind of crazy discount by shopping at these types of stores while you're in the Playa area. But if you're, don't find these stores easily accessible in the area that you live in, or if you live out of the country, this might be a great place for you to go shop. For me, I live in downtown Atlanta, as y'all know, and, I can walk to a Sephora. So, it's not that big of a draw for me. However, I do just love walking around and seeing all the people and interacting, etc. So even if your shopping is not your thing and you're not into souvenirs, I'm not at all, because I've done a lot of this stuff in the past. I just still love walking around. It's definitely a lot of fun. One of the main draws of going to Playa del Carmen is the really cool statue that you're going to see pictures of here. It almost feels kind of like a gateway, if you will, to the ocean there. I absolutely adore it. It's very beautiful. Sometimes they have folks that are acting... they may actually be mine, I don't know, but they do kind of like a certain type of little play there, etc. It's a really nice public park. You can sit there and look at the water, you could even bring a drink out there, or if you got some kind of to-go food, just really enjoy sitting out there. It's really nice and getting your picture made with the statue. There's also a huge Playa del Carmen sign near this area now, which you'll see video of here. That's also really cool. I really enjoyed, these kind of signs have really gotten very Instagrammable, I feel like. So I feel like they're like in all the towns, etc. now. But yeah, that's a really, really cool area. There is a Senor Frogs over near there. It's also right by the ferry, and I'm going to talk about the ferry to Cozumel in just a moment. The ferry to Cozumel is located towards the end of Fifth Avenue, kind of near this higher end shopping situation. It's very easy to get to. You can take a taxi there. You can have a private transfer company take you to the closest area where you can drop off and get picked up to go to the ferry. The ferry leaves each day, every day, almost every every hour, but on the half hour. So for example, 8:30, 9:30, etc., etc. And so you can get a full schedule of that. I'm going to post it in the description box below. The prices ebb and flow, so I'm not going to quote prices, but you'll get the idea. So I highly recommend, if you want to save money and you are coming from the U.S., flying into Cancun and then taking the ferry over to Cozumel in order to save cash. It is very difficult to get a direct flight every single day into Cozumel. It is definitely on my bucket list to do the Secret's Aura in Cozumel. I have still not done it, and it is on my list. It's just very difficult to get there, and it would eat up an entire day, I feel like, taking the ferry over there. And again, getting those direct flights to Cozumel are pretty pricey, and they don't fly out every day, and the times are odd. So again, the ferry looks very safe. I have friends that have taken it. However, please keep in mind that if you are, taking the ferry back from Cozumel to Playa or vice versa, sometimes they won't sail every single hour due to weather. So if you're going to catch a flight, or you need to get back to one side, you need to get back to the mainland or get to Cozumel, you really need to keep the weather in mind. Safety in Playa. So I feel very strongly that if you have not been to an area like this before, that's very touristy, where people are perhaps trying to hustle you, then you definitely need to pay close attention to this portion of the video. So on Fifth Avenue, you are going to have a lot of people that are coming up to you and hustling you to the point of harassment at times. They definitely see you perhaps as not weak, but just a person that they could perhaps prey on if you look like a tourist. And let's face it, most of us do look like tourists. So here are my best safety tips. Safety tip number 1, don't talk to anybody. You're going to have people that come up to you that perhaps will look at the bracelet that you're wearing from the resort that you're staying at. Or even if you don't have on a bracelet from a resort, they might claim to know you. One line that's used a lot is, "Oh my gosh, I was your waiter last night at the Wyndham Ultra," because you may have on a Wyndham Ultra bracelet, and all of these folks know what the different bracelets look like. "Don't you remember me? My name is X." And then they're going to try to ask you for money, or perhaps try to sell you a tour. Sometimes these tours are real, and sometimes there's not. My advice to you is to just either A, ignore them, which is what I do, or B, just be like, "No thanks, man." And they may continue to harass you. Just keep walking and walk away from them. 2, make sure that all of your valuables are secured. So, I carried a purse around. It's fine. But I don't, normally and I live in Atlanta, Georgia, y'all, and I probably am too trusting, but, I feel like I know my area. Sorry, Hammy's barking. And I will, when I go to the bar, I will leave my purse at the bar. I will leave my purse places because I've never had an issue here. However, I would never do that in Playa del Carmen, or even in other larger cities such as Baltimore here in the U.S., or even if I was in Punta Cana and I was at a club. So just make sure that your valuables are secured. And then if you do go to the restroom, that you're having somebody watch your pocketbook or your wallet, or if you purchase anything, make sure that you keep those bags on you at all times, and you're not leaving those bags unattended, because people will steal items from you. Number 3, make sure that you kind of look like you know where you're going. Fifth Avenue is just basically a straight shot. There are some side streets, but it's very easy to navigate. It's not difficult. It is a grid system, so you can turn on your Waze or Google Maps and figure out exactly where you're going. Hopefully, if you do have internet in Mexico, which I always do because I do pay for the international plan, I definitely would not look like you didn't have a clue. So try to ensure that you understand where you're going, and that even if you don't have a destination, that you look as though you do have a destination. Next pro tip, I personally would not carry a bunch of cash on me. I also don't carry my passport on me. I leave my passport in the safe at the resort, and I may bring some cash, but I would bring like $20 just in case somebody does steal my purse or pickpockets me or ask me for money. I'm not going to get everything stolen. Definitely just bring one of your credit cards along, and your ID. If you do have a government ID, I definitely would recommend that. But again, I would not bring my passport. But that's just me. I know other people feel strongly that they should bring their passport. So that's just what I recommend. All right, next up. Pro tip, you do not have to tip at restaurants, okay? I know us being people that are from the United States, we're so used to tipping at restaurants and bars. However, it is included in the cost in Mexico. So when you go into a bar or you go into a restaurant, you're paying, everything is paid for. There's no gratuity on top of anything. They might list something like that, and you can just make sure you're reviewing your receipt, but don't feel like you have to leave extra unless you just feel like that server or that bartender has gone above and beyond. Another pro tip that isn't necessarily safety related, but the American dollar is widely accepted in this area of Mexico. It's not like Huatulco or other parts of the country where they prefer a peso. I definitely recommend bringing U.S. dollars. So even if you're from another part of the world like France or Canada, I would definitely convert to U.S. dollars. You're going to get the most bang for your buck that way. If you do pay for something in U.S. dollars, you will probably get change in pesos. Just a heads up. Most places, will take cash. Some just take credit cards or debit cards. So also know that as well. Another pro tip, if I was buying something off the street from a street vendor, I would not use a credit card. I would pay cash. I just don't necessarily trust those people, even if they are using Square or they're using Venmo or something like that. I personally would not do that. I would make sure that I was paying for those items if it's from a street vendor in cash. All right, final pro tip. You will have people approach you and ask you if you want to buy drugs. Make sure that you say no. Always say no. That's just my personal opinion. And for all of you that are worried, the Playa del Carmen area is so safe, y'all. I mean, think about it. On the news, you never really hear anything like so-and-so was murdered in the Playa del Carmen area. I mean, you might, but it's like once in a blue moon. Really don't stress about it. It's just like anywhere else that you're going to go, maybe New York City. I just would be kind of worried if I was from a small town and, you've never really been to like a bigger international city before, then you might have to worry just because it's a new experience and you've not really been around that sort of metropolitan type of area. However, again, this area of Mexico is so safe. Their life's blood is tourism, so you're really not going to have any issues. There are a ton of restaurants and bars in the Playa del Carmen area, and especially on Fifth Avenue, so much so it can almost seem overwhelming. One thing that I really appreciate about the Fifth Avenue experience is that you don't see a lot of chain restaurants. And as y'all know, I am really big into not supporting corporations. I really like to pump my money back into the local economy. That's anywhere that I go. That's here in Atlanta, Georgia. That's in Punta Cana, etc. So I really want to support these local businesses. I will say, though, that I did go to one chain, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But You're going to see so many different bars and restaurants. I just would recommend, kind of Googling around the internet and seeing kind of what's interesting. And also, just simply walking around, looking at menus. And again, like I said earlier in the video, the gratuity is included in the price point when you go to a bar or restaurant in this area of Mexico. So please don't, tip on top of that, and because you feel like you have to, especially from the US. I know we're very used to having to tip that 20 or 18% or whatever it is that you feel like you should tip, or 25%. Anyways, I'm going to talk about a few bars and restaurants that I really enjoy on Fifth Avenue, and one that I've not been to yet that I really want to go to. So anyways, let's go ahead and talk about those now. Okay, the first place that I really highly recommend that we just randomly stumbled upon is Al Dia Corazon Mexican Maya Restaurante y Cenote, okay? And y'all, this place was incredible. It doesn't look like much from the street, but once you go inside, there's an actual mini cenote, okay, inside. You're going to see video. There's a garden area that you can walk down into, which would be so cute to dine in there at night. They have all the twinkle lights. Oh my God, so romantic. Not sure how the food is. I do run a huge Valentine Imperial Riviera Maya group, as most of you know. I will link it in the description box below, but I always try to update everybody when I am in Mexico. And I posted about this place, and a couple of people said they didn't think the food was that great, but the drinks were incredible. The prices were not bad at all. They were very typical for any big metropolitan city, so that wasn't an issue for us. If you do live in a more rural area, it might be a little pricey for you, however. But y'all, the service was great, and I can't say enough about how cool this experience was. It literally felt like we were dining right at a cenote, and we kind of were. So highly recommend you get to this Al Dia Corazon Mexican Maya Restaurante y Cenote. Really highly recommend. It is in the middle of Fifth Avenue. You'll stumble upon it. You can Google the exact location. And there are all kinds of cute Instagrammable areas in this little restaurant. And y'all know I'm a sucker for an Instagrammable area. Okay, this is the chain that I actually adore. Y'all probably know that I am into, heavy metal music, and I do look a little bit gothy, as most of y'all are aware if you watch my videos. I really love a Hard Rock Cafe. Don't judge me, or you can judge me if you want to. So I really always try to hit them up. I've been to a ton of them. I've been to them in London. I've been to them in Barcelona. So I have visited Hard Rocks all over the world, and I had not done the one in Playa del Carmen yet. I have done the one in Cancun. So we did hit it up. It was kind of lackluster for Hard Rock. It was very small. It was typical Hard Rock. We didn't eat there because it's always kind of the same kind of fare, but the drinks were Hard Rock drinks, and they did have some great decor on the walls, obviously from various musicians. So if you do want to cool off and you're in the middle of Fifth Avenue, definitely recommend Hard Rock. But I think the one in Cancun is better, actually, because it's on the water. Anyways, also I have done Senor Frogs a ton in Playa and in Cancun and Jamaica, etc. We didn't make it to Senor Frogs this time. I do feel like it's overpriced, but it's a fun experience. I've also been to Senor Frogs in a lot of cruise ports, so it's something to definitely experience if you've never done it. I highly recommend it. But again, I definitely think the food and drinks are overpriced. One of the other places we hit up that was really stinking cool was actually called Mexico Loco. It is over near the Maya portal and statue, and it is super cute. I am a big Day of the Dead aesthetic fan, I guess you could say. I love anything related to Day of the Dead, and just even any kind of Mexican culture, really. Out of anywhere that I travel to, y'all know Mexico is my absolute favorite place to be. So this was a really interesting bar because a lot of the decor, etc., you'll see is Day of the Dead themed, and it's got that cute caricature kind of stuff. And they also have swings at the bar, and I'm a huge swing bar girl. I love that stuff. I know a lot of the resorts have it now, but it was fun to sit there and swing and have some drinks to get out of the rain. It's very colorful in there. Just highly recommend it over some of the other spots that we went to. So it's near that Mayan portal statue. It's a little bit it's not right on Fifth Avenue. It's it's near it, but you can Google it. I'll just put the description. I'll put the link in the description box below, but highly recommend. Margaritas were fab. One of the spots that I have not done on Fifth Avenue yet that I want to do is A Lux, and it is a cave restaurant experience. I know a lot of people have done it. The food definitely gets mixed reviews. I know that it's very pricey, but you literally like dine in a cave. I've watched several other influencers. Some have really loved it. Some think that, again, it's overpriced. And even some have said it's kind of weird because bats are flying around you and like water's dripping into your food. I would love to go in there for a drink, but they don't open till the evening. And this last time when I went into Playa, the couple of days that I did go into Playa, I only went into Playa during the day, so I didn't go at night. But it is still on my bucket list, and I will eventually do it this year or next year. Sorry, Hammy wants to play. I'm going to link Hope Scope. She is a major influencer. I'm going to link her video of when she went to A Lux in the description box below so you can get a really good feel for it. She actually went to a lot of places in Riviera Maya that are on Pinterest. So it's a really interesting video. If you've not seen it, I highly recommend that you watch it. And if you go to A Lux, definitely, or if you've been, please comment below because I'd love to hear your feedback about it. All right, so a couple of the other random things you can do on Playa. There is a Coco Bongo if you're into that, which is just a really kind of variety show, high-end club atmosphere. It's not really my thing. I've never done it, but people love it. There is that kind of entertainment. There is a Frida Kahlo museum. I think I mentioned it in the video before. It's more of a museum about her life. I'm a huge Frida fan, and it's not, none of her original works are there. I've seen a lot of her original works in a touring exhibition that came through Atlanta years ago, but y'all, it's on my bucket list to go to her actual home in Mexico City and see all of her works. Again, I've been fascinated with her ever since I was in college. My undergraduate degree was in Spanish literature, so anyways, but yeah, and there is a church. It's a Catholic church. It's over by the Mayan portal statue. It's not historic or anything, but it's a nice little place. You can go inside and sit down. We did do that this time. So it's definitely worth popping in there if you've never experienced a church like that before. But yeah, there's a lot of other things to do on Playa just other than eating and drinking and shopping. Thank you so much for watching our video. We really appreciate you learning about all things Playa del Carmen with us. And I really am going to push out some lifestyle content next, I promise. I may have one more travel video sandwiched in between the lifestyle. And we'll see. But again, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Due South Tips and Travel Tips. Hammy and I would really, really appreciate it. It's the only way we're going to grow, and it's the only way we're going to continue to bring you this amazing content. So, thank you so much, and don't forget, the experiences are greater than material things.